Alright, so growing up, despite being born and raised in California, I spent a great deal of my childhood in Bangkok, Thailand. And so one of the most interesting days of my life was in Bangkok, Thailand when I was 3 years old. It starts off when I was being woken up by my parents, and they woke up my older sister and me, and we were to go to a park outside of Bangkok. And in this park, as a 3-year-old child, I wasn't sure what to expect. And in this park, I was greeted by a man who had at least an 8-foot yellow python around his shoulders. And after he tells my parents that it is harmless, it's safe, he proceeded to put the yellow python right on top of my small 3-year-old little body. And it was interesting, a great way to get greeted. And in that park, I got to play with one of the tigers because the workers let me in the back, so there was a tiger in one of the rooms, and I remember it being very soft, very warm. I also recall that one of my favorite things that we did that day was actually playing and riding with the elephants, because they were just an absolute joy to be around. But I also recall asking my parents if I could put lotion on the elephant's skin because it was prickly and itchy, and as a child who grew up with eczema, I assumed that the elephants suffered from eczema as well. So after the park, this was simultaneously the best day and the worst day of my life, and I'm going to explain why that is. So we go back, we're out of the park now, we're going back to our hotel, and the nightlife is starting to kind of kick in. We decide, hey, let's walk around before we go back to our hotel room. So we decide to walk around, and being a 3-year-old, I start to wander a little bit away from my parents, as 3-year-olds do, I'm wandering a little bit away, farther away, a little bit farther away. And now I don't know where my parents are. And then all of a sudden, bam! 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 There was 3 gunshot-like noises that filled the whole streets. And not even 5 seconds after those gunshot-like noises, a man from a 3-story building right in front of me falls 10 feet away, right in front of me. And I think the sound of the body hitting the floor was even more haunting than the gunshots itself. So, 3-year-old me, I'm standing there. I don't really understand what's going on. And I'm scared, and I'm shocked, and I don't know where my parents are. And everybody around me is panicking. Everybody's running in different directions with a lot of screams. And all of a sudden, I hear my father's voice right behind me. Run, run! I didn't even think about where my parents were or anything. I just ran, because I knew that I had to get out of there fast. For some reason, I didn't know what to do, but I knew that maybe I could go inside of a building, somewhere where I won't see the body again. So I went inside of the closest building where the doors were open. So I go inside, I'm running inside of this building, right? And I look, and there's a shelf. So I go right behind the shelf, and after that, there's a little slit where I can peek through the window to see what's going on outside. So I'm peeking through the window, and all of a sudden my older sister, luckily enough, followed me right next and was hiding right next to me behind the shelf. And we were peeking through the window. We don't know where our parents are. And we're looking, and the body's still there. Nobody has picked it up yet. The streets are completely empty now. And we wait a minute. Nothing's going on. We wait another minute, the body's still there, and then another. In about 10 minutes, an ambulance starts to kind of come in from the distance, and they pick up the body. And when the body is picked up, people slowly start to fill the streets again. Until then, I found my parents, who came out of the building right across from where my sister and I were hiding. And we ran so fast to our parents, we hugged them, these 2 children scared of what just happened. And we didn't really know what happened to the man after they picked up the body. But when we came back to the hotel room, we knew that this was in the back of our minds, even though we didn't necessarily talk about it. And the most important part about this story is, yeah, it was a terrible experience, but we were safe and nobody was harmed except for the men. Thank you.